Leaders can be made out of laggards. Leadership is not for high flyers, it's not the exclusive preserve of smart Alex, it's not something that can be made to happen to people who are intelligent alone. Those you consider to be laggards, those you consider to falter, perhaps those that have failed, can also be made into leaders. They can become great leaders. Leaders, true leaders, are not biased in the choice of their followers. They are not looking for the smartest followers, the brightest followers, the strongest followers. They are only looking for committed people who are willing to follow them, to learn from them, and who greatly desire to see their lives transformed. Welcome to Leadership in 30 Minutes. And today we'll be examining the topic leading laggards. Leading laggards. How do you lead laggards successfully? First of all, who is a laggard? All right. The laggard may sound like a particularly derogatory term, but it isn't quite so. The laggard is just somebody who is slow to comprehend, who is slow to follow. They tend to drop the ball, all right, at times. Compared with their colleagues, all right, you often have to wait for them, all right, to come to the same level of understanding. That's basically who a laggard is. It's basically who a laggard is. And a lot of leaders are challenged when they have people like these as members of their teams. The very first thing that they think about doing is how to get rid of such people. I mean, who wants to have a laggard in his or her team? You know, they often think. But laggards are people, all right? Don't write them off. The fact that they are laggards does not mean that they don't have a future. It's actually your responsibility as a leader to help them, all right, get on the path to that future. They are laggards today, but they can become very competent leaders tomorrow. And that should be the heart of a leader for everyone who is willing, who is committed to following. All right. Yes, because the laggard is slow to comprehend, you know, it places a greater responsibility on the leader. And in order for a leader to succeed with such people, all right, to bring out the best in them, a leader needs to be mindful of a number of things and to do a number of things. All right. Now, when you look at the leadership of Jesus, he didn't have superstars in his team. All right. I mean, he recruited somebody, or, people who toiled all night and they caught nothing. All right. They didn't know what else to do. It looked like they wasted all their time. Maybe there are seasons like that when you do all the work and the results do not show. But it certainly didn't look pretty, nice. But he stepped in, he helped them. The one who didn't catch anything after toiling all night, all right, simply had so much that they couldn't even pull everything onto their boat. You see how the same person that some other leader would have written off as a laggard. You know, when we have toiled all night and caught nothing. I would have said, well, you know, these are not people to work with. But this leader, Jesus, did not look at them in that manner. He didn't write them off. All right. He brought his value, his own insights, his knowledge to bear, to help them. And he got results that they never believed they could get. And that changed their lives. So much so, they left everything, including that wonderful result of plenty of fishes. And they followed him. All right. And they followed him. And that journey was a journey of transformation. So much so that those who knew them to be illiterate men, barely in the space of 3 years, all right, acknowledged that they had changed so much and were wondering, are these not the same illiterate men? Fishermen, we've always known that. What has become of that? Oh, then they realized they had been with this man, this leader called Jesus. So that leader was able to transform their lives, to give them a new lease of life, help them to discover that they weren't to be written off. They weren't even to operate at the level they were operating before, that there was a place, a higher level, you know, for them where they could operate, where they could make greater impact. That's what true leaders do. They don't write off slow people. They don't have any disdain for laggards in their team. Instead, they take them in their stride, they recognize them for who they are, and they deal with them appropriately. They deal with them appropriately. So, how do you handle people like this when they are in your team? Well, let's start from the fact that you must, number one, give them a fair chance, all right, to prove themselves. You must give them a fair chance to prove themselves. You must give them a fair chance to change. You must give them the chance to benefit also from the value that you have to offer as a leader. You must not write them off. You must not be biased against them. You must not set them aside, you know, that they're just slow, you can't cope with them, you know, and all of that. No. They deserve a fair chance. They deserve what? A fair chance. That's where to begin. That's where to begin. Fairness towards that. Don't make them feel any less desired in the team, particularly when you have not invested in them yet. When you haven't invested yourself in them, and I will come to the what that means. So that's number one. You must be fair to them, essentially allowing a level playing field, giving them the opportunity to benefit from you like others and to prove themselves. Okay? Now, that's number one. The next thing that you need to do is that you must believe in them. You must believe in them. You must express the confidence, the faith that they can, all right, be turned into superstars. They can become bona fide leaders themselves. You must, you know, see their current condition as a temporary condition, and believe that by the time you add your own value, the best of them will come alive. The change and transformation that they need will be realized. You must believe in them. It's not enough to give them a fair chance. It's important that you believe in them. All right? That encourages them, that motivates them, that reinforces their own confidence. That if you believe that they can become like you, they can be turned into great leaders themselves, they will be challenged, all right, into believing in themselves. This is very, very important. This is very important. So the first thing you do is that you give them a fair chance, like everybody else, to experience the transformation that your leadership has to offer. The second thing that you do is that you believe in them, that they can become great successors like everybody else. What's the third thing that you must do? The third thing that you must do is to address the fact, to recognize the fact that that peculiar, characteristic of this group, which is the fact that they are slow to comprehend. Not that they don't comprehend, not that they won't comprehend, but they beat their time. They don't reason as fast, all right? They don't act as fast as some other people, maybe their colleagues. And when people are contending with that, when they're in that kind of situation, what must you do? You need to exercise patience. You need to align your approach with their speed of comprehension. Okay? They won't always be slow. And that's part of what you want to work at. But you have to slow down yourself as you work with them to address that aspect of what is holding them back, so that you can bring them out of it, and then you can increase the speed of your interaction. You can't be running at a faster rate or at a rate faster than their ability to comprehend you. You can't be reasoning, all right, or conveying your reason to them at a rate that is faster than what they can comprehend. You must match their speed, all right, and take them from that point and begin to build up. What we're saying is that you must forbear their slowness. You must understand it, show understanding. Don't ignore it. Don't harass them. Don't push them to be faster just by deriding them that they are just slow. No. Show understanding, because it's the peculiarity of that situation, of their situation. And you still have to work with them in that situation in order to get them out of it. You have to work with them in that situation in order to get them out of it. You have to work with them in that situation in order to get them out of it. And to do that, you must not make them feel, bad, make them hate themselves, make them feel that they are significantly, incapacitated just because their speed of thinking doesn't measure up to yours or to those of their colleagues. All right? You forbear them. You grant them accommodation. You show understanding. You allow them to take things in their own stride. But as you do that, you are encouraging them. As you do that, you are also challenging them as well. You are also challenging them as well. All right. So, number 4 thing that you need to do is that you need to paint a picture of the kind of personality that they are capable of becoming. All right. The personality of a leader, the attributes that makes for a true leader, and challenge them to exercise themselves accordingly. Challenge them to continually practice becoming or cultivating those attributes. All right. Exercise yourself to godliness is a secret that Paul laid out and told Timothy, this is how, to become like me. You want to imitate me, as I have said you should, which is one of the ways of turning out as a successor leader. Then exercise yourself to cultivate the character attributes of a leader, the character attributes that I exhibit. You want to encourage them and challenge them, all right, to continue to make an effort to exhibit those attributes. That's part of what you want to do. Number 4. Number 5 is this. Now, number 5 is to celebrate them as they make progress, so that will ginger them, all right, to want to make more progress, to put in more effort. It will build their confidence. And you must do this very early in the day. It must become part of your way of interacting with them, always encouraging them, but much more celebrating their gains, however little, especially when on those occasions when they don't take as long, all right, to appreciate what you're conveying, to comprehend, the issue at hand. And when they get the results out of it, you celebrate them. You celebrate them. You showcase them to their colleagues. You celebrate them. You acknowledge, their contributions in the midst of everyone. That helps them a great deal as well. That helps them a great deal. These are critical steps that you need to take, all right, when you have laggards in your team. Laggards can become authentic, effective, impactful leaders, just like any member of their team. Their path may be slow. They may demand more resources from you, more effort, more inputs from you. But in the end, because they become leaders, just as you want them to be, just as their colleagues are, you derive fulfillment from everything that you have invested to bring them to that point. Never again write off anyone as a laggard. No one is a laggard. I can't remember any of the team members, of Jesus, as slow as they were at the onset, who ended up without being a formidable leader, except perhaps the one who fell out. But even there, before he fell out, he was doing great things. When the people were sent out, and they had responsibilities and authority delegated to them, they came back with great reports. He was among them. Judas is his name. So everyone that was in his team, a number of who were slow, all right, to comprehend what the whole arrangement was about, to comprehend what he himself stood for. They turned out to be formidable leaders. Formidable leaders they turned out to be. And that's why. Because he never wrote them off. Because he believed in them. He gave each one an opportunity to prove himself. Because he encouraged them. All right? Even though at times he was frustrated by their inability, all right, to quickly understand him. Occasionally he would express that frustration, but he never took it out on them. He never punished them. He never derided them. All right? He understood that they were not in his class, but he brought himself to their level and walked them up from there until he was confident that he could charge them to go on and build on the work that he had done. It's the same Peter who was slow in the beginning that he said to much later, when they had come to an understanding of who the leader was. He said to him, "You are Peter, and upon your leadership, I will build this church, and the gates, of hate will not prevail against it." The same person who looked like a laggard at the onset, because of the work that the leader did, turned out to be a formidable leader. Peter turned out to be a formidable leader, himself. Confident, bold, effective, impactful, result-oriented. Yet, he started out as a laggard, someone who toiled all night and caught nothing. So don't write off anyone as a laggard. Inside the laggard is great potential, all right, to become a strong leader. And it's your responsibility as a leader, all right, to see that potential become reality by you nurturing, okay, the potential that you can identify in your people. And that's it today on Leadership in 30 Minutes. We have been speaking on the subject of how to lead laggards, all right? Leading laggards, leading laggards. It doesn't sound very bad, a bit challenging, but, it's one of the things about leadership that gives fulfillment. To see people who faltered, to see people who had little confidence in themselves, to see people who were slow, all right, to reason things out, to comprehend things, to see them become superstars, outgrowing all of those shortcomings, and now being put in a position where they can help others to grow and to have a better quality of life. My name remains Olatunji Shobodu, your anchor, and there it is for Leadership in 30 Minutes today. Thank you for joining me on the program, and see you again on Monday when I will be speaking on something else, still on leadership. Your nugget will come on Monday. Be on the lookout for it. Promises to be empowering and interesting. And I keep saying, if you have questions, just put them in the comment or send me an email, and be sure that I would respond. And if you need help, coaching, mentoring, well, you know who to reach out to. I'm yours, always yours in nurturing leaders based on truth. Olatunji Shogodu, Emet Leadership Academy. God bless you and have a wonderful weekend. Bye bye.